We're into the snow of winter, folks. Sometimes the snow of winter means plowing, and like I told you a couple videos before, the big boy sometimes has to come out. This storm starts about on the 19th, and it ends on the 22nd for us. I'm not really sure how much we got. Our local little airport is saying in total that we hit 22 inches. I don't know. They say one storm had about 6 in it, another storm, part of it had 12 in it, and then they're saying another storm had another 4 to 6 in it, so it's kind of tricky. But the security cameras here on the farm picked us up out there with the big boy, and sometimes it's fun to just kind of look at how plowing really goes on the farm and how we actually do it. Now, we've got about a mile-long driveway. It's a half mile in, half mile out. We've got another mile of trails that need to be plowed out. We never tackle that during the night. It's a good way to get stuck, and you never want to get your biggest boy stuck. That's a bad deal, if you know what I mean. So here we got the 5090R out. It's got the Snowway plow on it. It's pushing the snow with ease. There's not a lot of wind as the storm started, and here, as you can see by the camera footage in the upper right, it's the 21st. So it really plowed quite nicely that first day. The Snowway is kind of nice, remember, because I can flatten it, I can V it, I can angle it, and I can even scoop a little bit with it, which is really good. But what I'm basically doing is leaving a pack on the gravel driveway and just now blading it off. The pack is pretty frozen, we've driven on it. So it really went quite nicely. One thing I like about the kind of power reverser type transmissions is you can go from, forward to backward quite easily. Just a push of a button makes it pretty simple to use the tractor. So I can really be quite efficient in plowing. I can get things out of my way pretty fast and get turned around, which is excellent. And in this situation, being it's about 8:30 at night, I've got passengers. My little sons absolutely love being in the tractor with me. Now, you'd certainly have a little bit more view on this camera footage if there wasn't almost a 3-foot drift of the roof here in front of the shot. But wind is what it is. I'm going to switch camera shots here in just a minute or two and show you a different view in a second. As far as trading out people and keeping things fresh, you get some hot cocoa here from my son, and he jumps in the cab, and we switch passengers up a little bit. They all like riding. It's the way it goes. On the 5090R, I do have the bubbler on it. The tractor comes with the hazard lights built into it, but I add the bubbler because a lot of times I'm out on the roadways. I'm amazed at how big of a piece of equipment this is, and over the years, how many people have really not paid attention to the fact that I'm there. I don't know if they're just distracted driving or what. So I find that bubbler gets their attention. They come over the hill and they get onto the flat to the county road, and they've got about maybe 3/4 of a mile before they get to me, and that flashing light kind of sets them off a little bit and says, oh, something's going on here. And it seems to get them to either move over or slow down, so that's why I have that on there. I know it's a little flashy and annoying for the video, but again, that's a constant. You just don't probably notice it as much during the day. So here I'm just kind of scooping it forward and shoving it into the piles. The blade is on the end of the blade, stands, I think, about close to 3 feet. And it's got a nice rollover on it, which is good. So I'm able to make a pretty good pile before I got to get the skid steer out and really kind of scoop it up. And because I've got the nice wide tires on the 5090R, it really keeps good traction pretty easily. I find that to be great. Now, a lot of people ask, when do I use the blower? I do use the blower at times. Once this pack is hard like this, I could use it now. I just have to be careful I don't shoot things at buildings. And when I'm up top like this, I do blow a little bit towards that yard light that's out there towards the end of our farm. But most of the time, I just push and plow up top here. And then I do the same at the goat barn, and I do the same at the cold storage barns. It's just easier to do it that way than take a risk and, damage something, if you know what I mean. As far as, fueling up and getting things, that's exactly what I was doing there for a second. I had to get things thawed out and get a little fuel in me there. But the tractor itself, if I fill it up, probably can do about 8 or 9 plow outs before I got to put fuel back in it. I am running in it, again this year, the Arctic diesel, which is, a little bit of a kerosene blend, and that seems to always protect me from freezing up. I think the temperature while I'm plowing here tonight is somewhere around 8 below. I'm not 100% sure on that. I know on the 22nd when I'm plowing, it was negative 10 that day. So the tractor is running in pretty decent cold. A lot of our snowstorms like to come in between, probably 30 degrees and 15 degrees, but every now and then we get one that comes in a little bit faster. And that's always a bummer, don't get me wrong, because when they come in fast like that and it's really cold, then unfortunately it makes the work a little harder on the units. We shovel out at the same time that we plow out, so the other kids are doing that for me. So you can see I'm working my way down the driveway now, and there's a little bit of a dip right before the road, and then again, like I said, then I get out on the road. That's where I'm really thankful to have the ability to have the bubbler on there and the warning lights and make sure everybody can see me. As far as, the comfort and ease and controls of running it, the 5090R has the joystick in it. So running the front end is a piece of cake. As far as the blower goes, there's not a lot of control to it. There's up and down on one lever, and then there's right and left on the chute, and then tip on the chute. So it's actually pretty simple to run too. I like that when it comes to plowing snow. So if you're going to plow snow and you're going to plow 2-3 feet of snow at a time, don't get me wrong, it's nice to have the ability to kind of adjust on the fly. As long as the tractor is warm, the hydros on this tractor respond very, very, very quickly, which is great. I know my son always likes watching, he's a little guy right now, Matthias, he really likes watching videos of tractors doing work and stuff, so for him to watch, us plowing out here tonight, that's a pretty cool treat, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to kind of fast forward here a little bit, jump ahead and show you some of the scenes from the porch view. As you can see, it's not as good of a view, so I won't stay on this view too long. But you can see I work between the buildings pretty good with it. It works out really nice, like I said, to push up here and drag backwards and try to make it the way I want it. What I'm doing here is I'm kind of coming up to the barn doors. I drop my blade, I pull back, and I make a pile. And then once I got a big enough pile and the door cleared out, then I just turn around and shove it up against the banks. It's starting to snow again here in this shot. It makes it a little bit more difficult to see and work with, but that's just the way it goes. And again, this security footage shot isn't as easy because this one is meant for the door, so you don't get quite as much view. But I'm just cleaning out the front of the barn doors in this view, and then I'm going to shove it off to the side. So I think at this point I'm going to jump ahead here and show you the next view. And the next view is a pretty nice view. It's kind of the main farm view here from straight down. And typically when I start, I always start at the top of the farm. That way, you work your way down to the other buildings. I find that to be the best. I guess that's just preference on how people do it. I know a lot of people start on their main roads and work their way in. I kind of work my way out. Just the way I do it. So this is the same storm, just a different view, folks. And this view is kind of a nice view because you really get to see how much I'm working with. You can tell it's cold. I think, like I said, it was about 8 below because see that baby, that big diesel, she's smoking away. She's really putting out the exhaust. That steam is just flying out of her. So again, I'm just cleaning out the door here. I'm pulling it back, making big pile. It's really quite nice. And the kids just love these piles. I mean, obviously, when you get done on a farm making snow piles, man, they build forts in them and climb on them. They have a blast with these things. So you can see there, I've got the pile there in front of the doors where the van is at. And then I'll just push that into the piles. This is the way I do it. I just pull it away from the doors the best I can. That saves a lot of shoveling. A lot of people ask if I need the 4-wheel drive. Shoot. I mean, right now, during this storm, I've been, plowing it as we go. I think there's, a little less than 6 inches here at the moment that I'm pushing. You don't need 4-wheel for that. But yes, when I get into the back during the daytime, after everything's blown and drifted, snow gets a pretty hard crust on it in Minnesota, especially if it lands when, it's pretty cold like this. When it does that, 4-wheel drive is a must on these big tractors. I do not have chains on it. I know some people chain up in Minnesota because it gets so nasty. I just try to keep up with the snow so that I don't have to put the chains on it. As you can see, I'm plowing away here, and I'm leaving a few streaks, but I come back and get them. I don't leave a ton of streaking. To me, that's just the way I do it. I just kind of plow a few big lines, and then I come back and take care of my streaks. I can angle the plow so it cups a little bit more, but when there's this much snow, it's going to streak a little anyway. So I've just decided tonight with my kids in the cab with me that I'm just going to kind of plow it out right and straight. So just making piles, as you can see, kind of fun. The process of getting used to one of these machines to plow, I think, doesn't take long at all, folks. It's kind of fun. I would say most people can learn to plow with a machine like this within just a couple snowstorms. Probably the most dangerous thing is make sure you don't hit something. As you can see, some people are crossing my path and stuff as I work. I'm always trying to watch out for them. You got pretty good visibility out of a cab like this, but you certainly try to make sure you're not hitting anything, you know what I mean? It's easy to back into a post or crunch a garage door or put yourself in the middle of traffic in the wrong way on the street. So you got to just kind of think about that when you're plowing. This setup for me, it does pretty good. I like it a lot. Again, this is that same footage where my kids are swapping out and we're getting some drink and getting back on the road here, plowing away. It's now, I'm putting words to this video. It's Christmas time now. And I think total we're somewhere around probably 2 feet of snow up here. And that's a fair amount of snow for this time of year. Normally by the time winter comes, it's not uncommon for us to have 3-4 feet of snow down on the ground, easy packed in. But it's always a little different when you get it before the holy day. See how I just kind of grab those extra piles there and I just kind of push them where I want them? That makes it a little easier for me. Plowing is always kind of a fun thing to do when you've got a nice tractor with a heated cab that you can plow with. I know for some people it's a chore. I grew up on the farm for many, many years with an open, what the heck was that tractor? I think it's like a 1566 or something like that, open station tractor. And we plowed with snowmobile helmets and bibs on and everything to make that work. So it's not uncommon that you got to do that to this day still. But boy, when you got a cab like this where you can not be fighting the negative temperatures, that's always a fantastic thing. Trust me of that, folks. It's absolutely fantastic. So all I'm doing right now is just, getting myself adjusted. A lot of times I've kind of tipped the blade there a little bit where I want. I tend to stop because, again, set everything up the way I want and then go do it. Some people do it on the fly. There's just a lot of different controls, and sometimes I find it's a lot easier to just, take my time and get my adjustments made and then go off and plow on it. And you see there in the bottom left, my kids are shoveling out the sidewalk. I'll eventually grab all that stuff too and get that all put away. Yep. Kind of fun to see it all get done. I actually kind of enjoy plowing at night. Get done with work, tractor gets plugged in. We do plug this boy in to start it. I've been able to pretty successfully start it up until about -5. Then the diesel gets a little touchy. She doesn't like to always start after -5. Even with that good diesel fuel in it. So this is kind of us at the end now. I've got everything pretty much cleaned up. Again, when there's sunlight and the storm's over, we'll hit the back trails and hit the long driveway to the other place. I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup here at the end, and then we'll put the beast away for the evening. I find that, again, at night, I don't take any risks getting into those back areas. As you can see there at the end of the driveway, I'm doing a little bit of blowing now just to finish it out. The blower works really good on this thing. It's a great big Frontier blower. If the snow is kind of dense, probably can get 60, 70 feet out of a blow. When it's light and fluffy like this, I'm probably getting 20, 30 against the wind. But it's kind of nice to be able to kind of move the snow out of the way. Now I'm going to just kind of pack out the edge of this driveway and then come back into the top here, and I'll do a little bit of blowing up on top just to move my piles back a little bit. After a while, the driveway kind of shrinks as winter creeps in on it. And I find it's a little better sometimes to kind of open that up. And that's where I really like the blowing the best. Take that driveway edge when it starts creeping in on the long driveway, turn that big blower on and just kind of blow it off to the side. And up here at the top, I can shoot right towards that security light and kind of get that out of the way. Then it's not in anybody's way to get in and out of buildings and stuff like that. I never blow at the first couple snows because you got to have a pack. Otherwise, that blower is just going to chew up gravel and fling it into the lawn. That just makes a ton of work for you. I mean, just an awful lot of work. So once I have the piles like this, I'm just going to turn around and back up and blow it. I don't know if you noticed, but it's the 22nd. It's the next night here that you're watching on this little last piece. Again, I had to keep blowing snow for about 3 days and plowing. Like I said, it came in, I think, on 19th or the 20th, and I did a lot on the 21st. I did a lot on the 22nd, and then I did a little bit on the 23rd. Yep, just blow it all over there. Bucket of good wind tonight. I want to say the wind was pushing about maybe 20 miles an hour. I think they said the wind chill was maybe negative 35 or something like that. But again, the equipment worked great. Blower did excellent. And everything turned out really good. So again, I just blow those kind of areas out that I need to. And then it's time to put everything away for the night and call it a night. So I went down to the goat barn, cleaned out the goat barn, finished the last little cleanup areas. It's good enough for us to be able to function and navigate for a night. Like I said, when the sun's up, I'll come back and tackle it more. I put the tractor to bed here and kind of move forward with everything else that needs to be done on the farm tonight, like milking and stuff. Certainly appreciate you watching us plow at night. The security camera footage here made it really easy right before the holidays to show it. I hope everybody has a really wonderful Merry Christmas, folks. Thanks.